much as your schools all sound interesting, without cutting off my left arm, how am I going to pay for them? So what kind of, because we're talking gross money, we're talking net money, not gross money after salaries. What kind of financial aid's available? How do you qualify, things of that nature?
It's a misconception that schools only give a sort of full amount of the tuition, or they only give to families that make under a certain amount of money. When you go through the financial aid process, it's very, very detailed. And they're looking at all kinds of things. It's not about a cutoff of a salary. It's about loans and dependents and people, number of students you have in school or college, or family members living with you. They consider so many things, and it's a thorough application. It's not fun, but it's thorough, and it considers a lot of things. And I think all schools are looking to give out a range of awards, because you don't want to have a barbell effect. You don't want to have your haves and your have-nots. You don't want people paying full tuition and almost nothing, because that creates something in your culture that is not healthy. And you want to give financial aid to all different kinds of people. And so don't ever think that, oh, we would never get financial aid, so we're not going to even try. You should always try. You should always apply, because you might qualify for 5,000 or 10,000 or 15 or 20 or 25 or everything but 500. I mean, we really give out a range of awards, and we want to give out a range of awards. We don't want to be just giving out full tuition or nothing, because that's not the kind of communities we want.
So if you look at the back of this flyer, we give out traditional financial aid in general to families making up to $150,000 a year. That's just a general. Again, if you have student loans, if you're supporting your grandmother, if you're, you never know circumstances. However, this chart right here is for families that make between $150,000 a year and $350,000 a year. We give out a $5,000 grant for anyone within that range that comes in for the first year. Go have your fourth kid is the bottom line. Keep having babies, because the more children you have, the more money we give out.
And that's a very good reason to have
That's a very good reason to have more babies. Keep going, have more babies. There's no other reasons to have them. So, but I think that this is really to show you, first of all, the process is so private. The information, I am the admission director, I do not sit on the committee. So unless you as a parent come to me and tell me you're applying for financial aid, I don't know. And that's not the case in every school, but it's deliberate in our community, because we want to make sure that it is so private. That this is something that, hey, maybe you don't even want me to know you make $350,000 a year. It's a lot of money. You may not want me to know that and know that you're getting $5,000. But on the other hand, we have families who are all across. We are very fair with our financial aid. We tell families, one of the first things I say to them when they walk in is, if you feel you qualify, apply. Do not come to the school because of the fact that you don't think you can afford it. We will work with every family. We are not an elite. Majority of these schools may have been, elitist years ago. The economy doesn't allow for it anymore. We have to give out financial aid. We give out 55% of our schools on some type, because of this, on some type of program.
And I think you said before, you're going to learn more if you're around a diverse population of students and families, right? And that has to do with everything: race, religion, economics, all kinds of things, demographics. And so we want different kinds of families in the school. So you should never feel like, oh, I shouldn't have applied, I'll never qualify.
And there's easy ways you can find out. If you go to the NAIS website, which you might get the link for that later, specifically the sss.nais.org, there's something you fill out called the Parent Financial Statement, which is not fun. It's very much like your taxes. But at the end, it'll give you something called an EFC, which is your estimated family contribution. So you'll know right there what's sent to schools. Well, if a school is $20,000 and your EFC is 10, then you know that it's got sent to schools that, according to everything that they put in and documents that they submitted, they can afford 10 of the $20,000. So that's kind of an easy way of filling that out ahead of time, so that you'll have an idea. So when you apply, it won't be a surprise, or sometimes it's a pleasant surprise when people see that they actually do have an estimated family contribution that is lower than what they thought. And that opens up usually in like December.
And also,
for
they
families.
also allow you to explain other circumstances that might not be on that form. And often schools will allow you to write something explaining other circumstances. So, for example, say you had a parent die and you have their house, but you're trying to sell it, but it shows up as this other asset, you can explain that. So there's a lot of ways to go about it, to figure out.
And I would add to that, don't be afraid during the admissions process to ask about financial aid. At least for us, we are not going to, the admissions process will not include the knowledge that you are also applying for aid. And in some of the schools, like the aid package and the acceptance come together, because otherwise, how can you make an enrollment decision if you don't know how much money you're going to get from the school? And everybody handles that a little bit differently as far as the timing. But don't ever be shy about asking about aid.